Good morning and welcome back to Performance Motorcycle Works. We have a special guest this morning. We have a VFR 1200. I have personally had more than a dozen VFRs. I've had several 86 model, which were absolutely spectacular. I was lucky enough to have an 89 RC30. And my very first VFR was a 1990, red with white wheels. I had many a 5th gen, many a 6th gen. And I absolutely love them, but I've never really spent a lot of time with the 12. So we're going to take a look at this one today, and we'll bring you along, look at some features and stuff like that. Well, just a few fasteners and magic secret doors and panels, but bodywork gone, gas tank removed. We're going to get in here and pull this apart, pull the airbox cover off.
Okay, so these come out with it?
No, I've done them separately.
If you were to just like pull and not catch the cookie stuck, that could brick, right?
Yeah. Just gonna make sure you don't lose these rubber seals here. We have found, going into this, we found that we have tight exhaust valves. I had a suspicion before we even started. We've already done the rear cylinder. It's all buttoned back up. It was just the exhaust sides. The intakes were all perfect. I've got the throttle bodies out of the way, and now we're gonna go in and take the front valve cover off, do spark plugs, and check the exhaust valves on the front cylinder. I blocked off all of this stuff here to keep stuff from falling in. There's major wiring harnesses like totally getting in the way. Hopefully that won't present too big a problem. All right, we're getting to the tech tip part of the entire adventure here. Valve services. There's a lot of myths and misconceptions and such like that. They're typically in a service calendar for your motorcycle at age, but with the advancements in the bikes and the compact design, it's getting very hard and expensive to get in here and do that adjustment. So I'm going to give you a handy hint. If your bike is hard to start, if it dies when it's warm, if it cannot hold every 1,000 RPM interval perfectly, you might actually have a valve adjustment issue. But if your bike starts like a top, runs like a top, gets good fuel economy, and you can hold the RPM at every 1,000 interval, odds are they're good, especially if you have like a V-Strom 650. Those things are like one of the most consistently in-spec engines that I've ever checked. This one, unfortunately, it came to us with a concern, and it did play out that absolutely every valve was on the tight side. Now the problem with that is the valves, if they don't close completely, it can lead to performance issues, but even worse, it can lead to burnt valves, damaged valve seats, and stuff like that. So we got it in here, we got it all sorted. I'm really hoping that the customer really notices the difference and that the performance goes way up. That's your handy tech tip. If your bike is working perfectly, odds are your valves are in spec. Well, so Fred's asked me to do some reviews of cool stuff. As you saw, we did a tech tip on this bike. It's a 2011 Honda VFR 1200F. It was a sales flop in North America. I totally get it. It was superfluous. It didn't actually bring much more to the table. Technology-wise, it's really, really cool. It has a very unique V4 configuration with the way the crank is set up to make it very narrow in the cockpit area and very MotoGP-like. We're gonna ride it right now, and then I'll give you my opinions about it, and maybe we'll give it a Scott score. But even before we get started, I think it's RC30 replica worthy. I'm gonna wear my good helmet. It's like the 3rd time I've worn it. My first impressions of the bike is that it's like riding a Blackbird with a big bore RC30 motor. I never thought I'd feel or hear that sound again, and it was truly intoxicating, just as it is to ride a leader bike. It's been a while. I truly enjoyed this bike, but to be honest, it doesn't do anything better than an 800 Interceptor.
Want to explain what we're doing?
Dropped the VFR off and then came over and we're going to install tires on this 850 Tiger. Really cool gentleman. He's getting into the adventure thing, and we're going to fit him out with some more gravel worthy tires. Just a little follow-up. Remember that cylinder head job on the F3? Well, we got it all back together and didn't want to run. It came to us not running, so what can you do? Went through the carburetors, sorted them out, and then reassembled everything. Still would not run. Defied all reason. In the end, it looks like it was the air pickups. Pretty happy with that though. On a personal note, the Adventure Cooperative's 250L is getting a rad guard and the rad straightened. Well, our current job is to resurrect 2 motorcycles that have been parked in 2019. This is a much lesser known version of the Honda Grom made by Kawasaki. It is a 125 as well, and it is it was a few $100 cheaper, but this color is super killer. Little rare, unusual bike. It only has 910 kilometers on it. It will be for sale. Maybe we can post a link to the gentleman who's selling it, and you can pick yourself up a super low kilometer, funky little pit bike, which is great for commuting around town on.
All right, next we have this Suzuki SV 650X, which is kind of vintage cool looking. Don't like it too much.
Try not to. Let's go my outside. Well, last job of the day. We're here helping Kirby with his 990, a fellow adventure rider. Gotta love it. And he's just noticing some cool stickers on his bike. Don't go slow. And the adventure rally, which he would have partook with our friend Mladen. Anyway, we're gonna be back here in a week, get that swing arm back on his bike, and carry on.